Hello and welcome to Painting Panzers. My name's Christian and today we're going to be taking a look at some more British Airborne figures. Now I am going to try and change this up ever so slightly in terms of how I paint this figure, but this figure in question is a 28mm Empress Miniatures British Airborne figure, part of their Arnhem Heroes range. It was a Kickstarter, it's now a full-fledged range on the Empress Miniatures website. So if you like the look of this figure or any others you've seen in previous videos from the Arnhem Heroes range, you'll be able to get them on their website. But yes, today we're going to be looking at this figure. I'm going to change it up ever so slightly, so do stick around for that one and see how it differs from my other ones. Alright guys, enough of me rambling on, let's get stuck into this video. Now you can find these amazing British Airborne figures like the one that we're going to see today at Empress Miniatures website. Go to WW2 28mm and you can see it's the Arnhem Heroes British Airborne range. Now the range is mammoth. There's so much on there. It was part of a Kickstarter originally, which I've already covered on the channel. I've got a painting tutorial on it as well. But yeah, well worth checking it out. I just absolutely love these figures. If I wasn't so obsessed with 20mm, I probably would have painted a lot more of them, but I've got tons in my stash ready to go, and I thought today was a great day to get some more painted. So let's get straight into the rest of this video. Now to start off with, I prime my model with Tamiya Surface Primer Light Grey, and then I apply khaki for the Denison Smog. Now if you watch some of my older videos, I've used Middlestone as well. Middlestone's a little bit brighter, and I think khaki works a little bit better, but it's really up to you. You can mix and match, do a couple in Middlestone and a couple in khaki, just to give them different looks to their smocks, because obviously different wears and wearing and all that makes the smocks look different. And then for the green stripes, you want to add reflective green. Now you just want to add in nice sort of like brush strokes, but thick brush strokes. Don't overlap the greens together, just separate them, but do nice big strokes. Don't make the pattern exactly the same as well. And then you can move on to subtle brown. So this time with the brown, you're going to go over the top of those greens. Not all over, but just like overlap. You try not to join the browns together as well. So you want some of that khaki coming through on all aspects, and not the whole uniform being smothered in the camo colour. And then here for the cuff area, we're going to be using US Olive Drab, and I'm just going to be painting that on there. And then moving on to the trousers, so I'll be using English Uniform for that. Now if he had a canteen on him, I'd also be painting that as well in this colour, but this particular model is for Arnhem, so he's ditched most of his equipment. He's probably running on his last mag as well, trying to defend the bridge, so he doesn't have too much equipment on him. Now it's at this point I made a bit of a mistake with the filming. I've lost the footage up until the next stage after I've given the model a wash. So just to recap, I'm going to be giving the model a wash of no oil and Lafmia medium at a 1:1 ratio. All the other paints used will be listed as I go, so don't stress, you'll see the missing paints later on. So it's actually making the video slightly quicker and a little bit less painful for you guys. So yeah, let's get straight back into it. Now once that wash has had time to dry, you can apply khaki back over the areas that we painted in khaki. So that is obviously his smock in this case. You can see I'm just going over those areas, trying to be quite tidy as well, using a size 0 brush here, or it actually might be size 1, sorry, not 0. And then once I've done that, I'm going to go over it with khaki and German Camo beige at like a 3:1 ratio. So I'm only adding in a touch of that beige into the khaki mixture just to make that khaki a little bit more worn. I'm going with like a veteran looking British power here. So yeah, once you've done that, you can go over the browns now with subtle brown. Doesn't matter what order you do this in, by the way, it really is up to you. But I'm going over all those browns with subtle brown again, pretty much repainting everything, just leaving the original washed colour in the recesses. And then once I'm happy with that, I'm going to do the exact same as what I did before. So I'm going to add a dot of that German Camo beige to the mixture, just to lighten it up ever so subtly. Don't do too much because it will look super noticeable. You just want to do a tiny little dot. Just to line it a touch, and then pretty much just scratch over the top of the surface and just leave the darker colour on the outside of the pattern. And then refractive green is what we're going to be going with again for that green camo stripe. You can see that that figure is already starting to pop. It's an absolutely lovely sculpted figure by Paul Hicks and the team at Empress Miniatures. Absolutely joy to paint as well. And then exactly the same with that German camo beige added into that refractive green, just a tiny dot, and you are going to be having a lot of fun having this look really, really nice on the tabletop with a nice Denison looking smock, and the rest of it will just paint itself. Now, using that khaki and German camo beige mixture, if you've got it on a wet palette, just go over the seams and stuff. So I'm going along the outer edge of the smock here and any sort of bulging pocket, just adding a little bit more definition to that smock, so you can make out the parts of smock a lot easier. And once that smock is complete, you can then go on to English uniform and just pretty much repaint the whole thing, but just leaving the original base color in the washed areas. Just going over it nicely, and then you come to the next stage. So I call this a layer, it could also be a highlight, whatever you want to do. I use English uniform and German camo beige, World War II at a 1-to-1 ratio. And now I'm adding in just what I would call a layer. It's up to you what you want to go with, but I'm calling it a layer. And I'm repainting pretty much everything again, but just scratching it in until I'm satisfied that it looks nicely layered. And then with the helmet, I'm going to dry brush the netting with German camo beige World War II. And you can see I'm using just an old brush here. There's a lot of scrim on there. I haven't painted the scrim yet because I like to dry brush it and then I'll paint the scrim in a little while. Now, using khaki, I'm going to paint the actual strap on his helmet. So that chin strap there. Again, a nice thick chin strap, easy to paint with lots of details on it. And then to highlight that, I'm going to use khaki and stone grey at a 1-to-1 ratio. Now I'm just adding in a few little lines, so one on each edge, scratch on a little bit on the bulge where its chin would be in, on the top surface there, and then just any sort of little connections will get a tiny little line on them as well. Now he does have some cord around his chest here, so I'm going to paint that in old wood, and then I'm going to use old wood and Iraqi stand to highlight it. Then I'm going to use olive grey for his green scrim. Now the colour doesn't really match what I've put on there, but it was olive grey. I don't know, maybe I didn't shake the bottle properly, but yeah. And then I'm going to be using a flat brown, so you're getting a green and brown. I don't normally do this, but I thought I would change it up just to make it a little bit different to what I've done in the past, where I just do old wood and Iraqi sand, because I do really like that look for scrim. Now whilst that's drying, I'm going to target the wood area. So to start off with, I'm going to use flat earth, and it's all about just adding in a nice blob of that by scratching it in and giving it sort of like a wood grain effect. And then you slowly reduce the amount that you're putting on, because then I'm going to add in flat earth and orange brown, and I'm going to reduce the amount that I'm putting on, as I just said, of this colour. Again, just scratching on to give it that wood grain effect, and just with a nice pointy brush you're going to get a really good looking wood, a nice bright new wood colour when you add in the last layer, which is orange brown. And again, just scratching in, but obviously reducing the amount of this orange brown that's on there. Now for the scrim, I'm going to use that Nor Oil and Lafmere medium, and I'm just going to use a really old pointy brush and just go over what I've just painted on the helmet there. Once it's dry, obviously you don't want to be doing this whilst it's still wet. Now for any metal areas, I'm going to be using black grey, and I'm going to be going over the sten in this case in this colour, and just pretty much using this opportunity to repaint it all, but leaving the original base colour in the washed areas and tidy up any little mistakes that I've made. And then using black grey and basalt grey at a 1-to-1 ratio as our layer, and you can see here I'm now focusing on specific areas and specific parts of the sten. So the iron sight there, and the top of the sten, the magazine in a moment, all of that stuff is going to get a bit of attention, but I'm not going crazy, I'm not repainting it on. And then finally, I'm going to use the basalt grey as a highlight, and I'm just adding in a tiny little line on the outer edge of each part, and perhaps on the safety, on the top of each iron sight. And you can see in this footage the sort of areas that I'm really focusing on. I'm not painting the middle of the bodies as such, outer line on each of that magazine as well. And then for the flesh, I'm going to use light flesh from AK Interactive. I like to paint my flesh pretty much at the end. I don't know why, it's just something I do. There's no right or wrong way in my opinion. Somebody did say in my comment section, why don't you paint them at the start? That's the right way to do it, but I don't know if there is a right way or wrong way. I just prefer to do it this way. Now for his scarf, I'm going to be using US dark green for that one. And there's not really too much you can do here. Just try and get as much of that paint on there as you can without making any mistakes. And then to highlight it, just use US dark green and German Camo beige at a 1:1 ratio. Add very little paint on your brush and just sort of slowly glide it along the top of the surface, and you'll get a nice looking scarf with all the little details that are on there. And for the flesh, I'm going to be using Flesh Wash from Vallejo just to wash that flesh. It's like a pinky red wash, and it's going to really go in some of those recesses, so his mouth and eye socket and such, the fingers. Now olive grey and German Camo beige is what I'm going to be using. Again with this, I'm just going to be adding a touch of that beige into the mixture, and I'm just going to be going along the outer surface of the green there, just adding in nice little details on that scrim. The details that are there, these models are full of details, so they're easy, really easy to capture. You don't really have to do too much. I'm following the same method with the flat brown and that beige at that 3:1 ratio. Just do exactly the same with the brown, and then you'll see that that green brown scrim is really going to start to pop and look really, really good. Now I move on to light flesh again. So now we're painting the face again. So I'm using light flesh. You can see I'm pretty much repainting everything, but I'm going to be leaving the original color in the recesses, so along the side of the nose, in the inner ear canal, inside of the mouth, between the lips for example, around the nose if I haven't already said that. And then I'm going to add some highlight flesh to the mixture, again from AK Interactive, making it about 2 parts light flesh and 1 part highlight flesh. And I'm going to start picking out details. So I'm picking out the cheekbones, I'm going to pick out the top of the nose, the nostrils, the eyebrows, the chin, the outer part of the ear, and then do the exact same, but this time at a 1:1 ratio, and just adding a little line on top of the nose, a little line on the chin there, a little line on the very defined part of the cheeks, a little line on each brow, and then a tiny little line on each ear, and then you can do the same with like the fingers and stuff. And then I just throw in a little bit of base flesh, but I do water it down a touch, and that's going inside of the eye socket just to darken that area up. I'm not going to be painting the eyes because I don't really like painting eyes in 28 figures anymore. And then for his webbing, or his gaiters in this case, I'm going to be using US Olive Drab and German Camo Beige World War II at a 1:1 ratio, and that's going to bring those gaiters to life. Again, as I said, if he had his webbing, then I'd be doing that. Now for the buttons, I'm going to be painting those in khaki. And then I'm going over them in gold. Now they were brass, but I'm using gold in this case just because it looks a little bit better. At this scale, stands out a lot more. And then finally, I'm going to give the flesh areas another go of flesh wash, but this time it's more of a glaze, so I'm watering it down a touch and just applying a very light layer all over what we've just painted before. And then there we go. So that is the figure all but complete. obviously I needed to base them at the end of that video, but that's a video for another time. Absolutely love painting these Empress Miniatures British Paras. Paul Hicks and the team at Empress Miniatures do some absolute fine work, and really would recommend checking out their range. They've just finished their German range as well, so I'm sure that will hit the store at some point in the future. But if you missed that and you want to get some Paras, then don't hesitate to get some. I absolutely love them. And this isn't something that was paid for or anything like that. I truly, truly mean it. They are amazing figures indeed. Now, as always, I must say a huge thank you to my Patreons and YouTube channel members, as well as my Panzer Racers. So that's Patrick, Oscar, James, Panzer Jim, Colin, Lack of Foresight Gaming, Mike, Mikey, Eric, Rothgar, Ian, Adam, Aislinn, Seti, and Tom. You guys are all champions. Thank you so much for being those aces. Alright guys, do let me know in the comments section if you've enjoyed this video, if you're glad to see some more British Airborne greatness on the channel. But until then, I'll catch you at the next one.